What if all the world's cats suddenly became lion-sized? This question comes from Emma, who asks, if every domestic cat on Earth suddenly grew to the size of a lion overnight, how would this affect human civilization and the global ecosystem? Let's imagine it's a quiet Sunday morning when the impossible happens. Around the world, approximately 600 million house cats simultaneously begin growing at an alarming rate. Within just a few hours, every tabby, Persian, and alley cat has transformed from a typical 4-kilogram pet into a 180-kilogram apex predator the size of an African lion. The first signs of chaos would emerge before most people even wake up. Cat owners would hear strange sounds from their homes, furniture crashing, walls creaking, and what sounds like very large animals moving around. When they investigate, they'd find their beloved Mr. Whiskers has become a massive feline that can barely fit through doorways and is looking at them with the same affectionate eyes, but now from a height of nearly 1 meter at the shoulder. Within the first day, urban areas would face an unprecedented crisis. 600 million lion-sized cats would need roughly 60 times more food than before. A typical house cat eats about 200 grams of food daily, but a lion requires 11 to 15 kilograms of meat per day. This means the global demand for cat food would instantly increase by 3,600%. Pet stores would be emptied within hours, and the global meat supply chain would face immediate collapse. But the real problem wouldn't be feeding them, it would be containing them. Most homes simply aren't designed to hold 180-kilogram animals. Cats, even giant ones, retain their natural curiosity and athletic abilities. Lion-sized cats would easily leap onto rooftops, climb trees that couldn't support their weight, and break through fences that were never designed for such massive creatures. The psychological impact would be profound. These aren't wild lions that humans fear instinctively, these are beloved pets that still purr, still want belly rubs, and still try to sit on their owner's lap, except now they weigh as much as a motorcycle. The cognitive dissonance of having a creature that looks like it could eat you but still acts like it wants to play with a feather toy would be overwhelming for most people. Cities would face infrastructure failures within days. Apartment buildings would struggle with the weight of multiple lion-sized cats on upper floors. Sewage systems would be overwhelmed as these massive cats used oversized litter boxes. Veterinary clinics would be completely unprepared for patients that require equipment designed for zoo animals rather than house pets. The ecosystem disruption would be catastrophic. Cats are already responsible for billions of bird deaths annually, and that's at their current size. Lion-sized cats would devastate local wildlife populations. Small dogs would become prey. Urban rat populations would be eliminated entirely. And even medium-sized wildlife like raccoons and possums would face extinction in populated areas. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. After about a week of chaos, something remarkable would begin to happen. The same traits that make cats such successful hunters would make them surprisingly effective at solving urban problems. Rats, which cause billions of dollars in property damage annually, would be completely eliminated from cities. Pest bird populations that damage crops and spread disease would be controlled naturally. More surprisingly, these giant cats would retain their territorial instincts but on a much larger scale. Instead of defending small apartments, they'd claim entire city blocks. This would lead to the most unexpected consequence of all, the end of urban crime. No mugger would operate in an area patrolled by territorial 180-kilogram predators who view their neighborhoods as personal property. Within a month, cities would begin adapting in fascinating ways. Architects would redesign buildings with giant cat doors and reinforced floors. Parks would be redesigned as massive cat playgrounds with enormous climbing structures. The pet industry would pivot to manufacturing giant toys, massive scratching posts, and industrial-strength litter boxes. But the most profound change would be in human behavior. People would be forced to live more carefully and mindfully. You can't ignore a 180-kilogram animal that wants attention. Humans would develop much stronger bonds with their pets, spending more time outdoors walking them on reinforced leashes, and creating dedicated spaces for giant cat activities. The unexpected twist would come 6 months later, when scientists finally figure out why the transformation happened. It wasn't random, it was the cat's evolutionary response to climate change. As urban temperatures rose and ecosystems changed, cats instinctively grew larger to better regulate their body temperature and compete for increasingly scarce resources. This revelation would force humanity to confront an uncomfortable truth, though. Animals we live with are far more connected to environmental changes than we realized. The giant cats weren't a bizarre accident, but an early warning system that our planet's ecosystems were shifting more dramatically than we understood. The cats had grown large not just to survive, but to protect the territories they shared with humans. In their own feline way, they were trying to save us both.